All right, let's go. Let's look at. I want to just talk into the camera here for a second.
Maybe the stratosphere. Kai and George will go to the stratosphere.
The men's prejudging just wrapped up here, and we're here live at the Luxor Hotel Suite. I'm here with Lonnie, the Swami Teper to my left, Chris Aceto to my right, Ruth Silverman sitting to his right. And we just saw an exciting men's prejudging. Kai Green almost starting a fight with Phil Heath on stage in the preliminaries. They were separated after that, and we never saw them stand next to each other again. But we did see an amazing Sean Roden show us that he is a man to be beat. I want to just let everyone know, and I want to just talk about this for a second. Will Phil Heath repeat as Mr. Olympia, Chris, in your estimation?
You know, Phil is probably going to repeat here.
He looked vulnerable to me tonight.
He looked vulnerable. I think Sean Roden beat him on the abs and thighs. I think Sean Roden beat him on the front lat spread. I think Sean Roden possibly beat him on the front double inside tricep. But when it comes down to when all is said and done, I think continually what Phil Heath's calling cards is his consistency and ultimately the oddness of the cartoonish, just overall pow-pow, the way things tie in.
If we're going to talk cartoonish, I mean, Kai Green was very cartoonish out there. Lonnie, let me ask you a question about Kai Green. You seem to have him agree with Chris that he's third place here solidly. What didn't you like about Kai Green, and why do you think he's going to be third place?
I think he's going to be third place based on what I saw, not so much that I think he should be in third. Different type of bodies. Roden's more like a Heath, where Kai doesn't have the shape of those guys, but he's a little filthier, a little nastier, you know. I don't know. I think Kai losing his cool a little bit, could that make a difference? I think
more sportsmanship for certain.
I think it can make a difference. And right now I agree with Chris. I'm probably the Lone Ranger on this. I don't think Phil's any better than he was 3 or 4 years ago.
But is he good enough to win again?
Yes, he's good enough to win, but I'm telling you, Sean Roden's a lot closer than people think he is, just like Kai Green was a lot closer 2 years ago, even though Phil won unanimously. It's interesting, the Kai Green, and I agree with you, Dave. I think after it seems like he's being pushed aside after that little confrontation.
I got to tell you, I've never seen a display of poor sportsmanship like that. I mean, Phil was obviously joking around. He was smiling when Kai got in Phil's face. Phil didn't retaliate. If anything, he tried to almost like play it off a little bit. It was an awkward movement, a moment for Kai. Is Phil that much in Kai's head that Kai had to overreact like that? I mean, he did it at the press conference.
Of course he's in his head. Of course he's in his head, and you know what. I think where I saw the prejudging
is the judges going to count that against him?
I don't think Kai beats Roden simply because of this. His physique is way too squatty in the lineup. His pecs are flat as hell on the most muscular. They're flat on. He's flat in. When Kai Green actually now has the same problem as Dennis Wolf. When Dennis Wolf comes down, he loses his crazy roundness, which he did not have, which he had last year. When Kai comes down, I've always said it. I was not blown away with Kai Green in 2012. I thought he was flat. I thought he's much better then than he is now.
Right.
The most muscular, when we were criticizing his Kai's most muscular, the pecs can't roll, and they're not rolling on this shot because they're too down flat. I think while he has a lot of depth in his back, he still looks squatty on the back double bicep. The back double bicep looks cloudy like it did in 2010 when he came on, and I think he was 283, and we were in the parking lot saying, you said drop 15, I said you might as well drop 30.
And Lonnie said 100.
I said 100.
So I think what's happened with Kai Green's physique at this show is he's at the same disadvantage right now
that Wolf is. They
have to be perfect for their physiques, where I'm sure Sean Roden could have come in even tighter and flatter and still created the illusion of not being flat because of the structure.
Right.
So ultimately it comes down to structure. With Ruth says there's an Olympian structure that's important.
Who do you have in the top three? And give me the order.
Phil, I think he's going to win. Kai and Sean, it's such apples and friggin' oranges, you know? I personally like Sean's physique better than Kai's because I just like those pretty graceful guys. I'm a little confused about Dennis slipping into the top four, into fourth there at the end.
Over
there.
who though? Dexter?
Dexter, yeah, probably over Dexter.
I'm going to tell you what I think.
Yeah,
I think that I agree with Lonnie in one sense. I don't think that Phil was any better than he was last year. So he didn't make the improvements that we were led to believe he had made.
Or the year before.
Well, I don't know. Last year I liked him. I liked the way he looked, but I thought that this year he's not that much better. Is it that Sean Roden got that much better? Yeah, probably. I think he's making Phil look worse. And in our minds, we're seeing a better Sean Roden, and it looks closer than it normally is. Kai Green, who I can make an argument for winning the whole show. I understand what you're saying, and probably in person, it's amplified. He's flat in the pecs. He's trying to overflex his pecs to try to make them pop. They're not popping. His poor sportsmanship absolutely hurt him. Look, we're looking for Mr. Olympia here. Mr. Olympia's got to be a representative of the sport. We can't have a guy go crazy because they don't like what someone said to them or did to them at the 50th. So I think that's definitely. You mentioned it as a joke, but I think it's a serious consideration.
I didn't mean it as a joke. I'm dead serious. I think Chris even agreed with me. I think that's egregious what took place.
They had to separate them. I've never seen that in the history of Mr. Olympia.
He's lucky he wasn't eliminated from the contest.
I mean, in soccer, that would be a red card.
Well, he'd almost hit him. It looked like he was going to pull his arm back and hit him.
Well, let's not make excuses for Kai Green's bad sportsmanship for him getting what I think will be third, and I could be totally wrong. I just think that Kai will be third based on physique. Yes.
Well, don't forget, this is only 50% of our show that's taking place. So tomorrow night is still 50%.
That's how amped up I am.
Dennis could come back fuller. Kai could come back fuller. It could be a different story tomorrow. Going out of tonight, I think it's safe to say that probably Heath has a slim lead over Sean Roden, who's second, with Kai Green in close to Roden in third, with Dennis Wolf probably significantly off the top three, I think, but in a solid fourth place, with Dexter Jackson fifth, and sixth place, a toss-up between Big Ramy and Branch Warren, and Victor Martinez in probably that eighth spot.
Where's I know it's early, but where's Ramy go from here? It's
I don't know what does Ramy do?
Is he going to be a Raleigh? You know what I mean? A Raleigh type competitor where he's a freak and just show up to shows as a freak, or is he going to?
He's got to come in tighter.
Is he going to win big shows other than the New York Pro?
Yeah, well, I think we should see him. I think he should do the Arnold. I think the more he competes, the better he's going to get.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And I think that he hasn't done enough shows, and I think that's a problem.
They don't have a lot of years.
Dennis and him have 1,000,001 excuses. He's sick. He had this. He had that. I think we got to see him at the Arnold because I think that's a show he can win. And if he can't win the Arnold with that size he's got, he got to go back to the drawing board. But let's just talk about the final women's events. Iris Kyle wins number 10, monumental, Lonnie, moment in bodybuilding. We have a decade of champ. We've never seen this. This is a dynasty. She announced her retirement. What does that mean to the sport of women's bodybuilding?
Well, I don't know what it means for women's bodybuilding because there's a lot of questions like, will there be women's bodybuilding in the future? I think we all agree it will stay on the Olympia stage because of its history. It was a very touching moment there when Iris, and we don't know, those of us who know Iris know she's a very sensitive person, but a lot of people don't think she is, and she broke down on stage and,
it's a great moment.
And teared. It was one of the highlights of the night. It was
kind of overshadowed by the fact that people were waiting for the men's prejudging to start, unfortunately.
Yeah, and MC Bob Ciccarillo had to encourage the fans to let's stand up and give this.
I would bring her back tomorrow night, and I would make another announcement.
What an icon! Her resume is mind-boggling, as is Adela Garcia's, who announced her retirement.
Yeah, and she not only announced her retirement, but Oksana Grishina now is the new Olympia champ, and we probably will see her. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people's favorites, and I think we're going to see her win for many years to come. I don't think anyone's even close to her.
No, I agree with you. She could be a new dynasty.
Yeah. And how about Ashley Kaltwasser, the first Bikini Olympia champion of wins under her belt? She's only 24 years old, like you said, Lonnie. Yeah, beautiful. She brought a level win.
And like you said, Dave, as the MC last year, I couldn't tell on stage when she won and Yashira Robles was second. You had Yashira, I guess, go with Ashley. So you saw improvements.
Yeah, I definitely did.
At that young an age, could she do bikini than it is in some of the other things.
And then we have Janet Leog, who is also out of nowhere in second place. Her and Ashley will probably be battling for the next couple of years.
She won the was it 12 or 13?
Flipping a little bit.
Yeah, but I don't know. She didn't really on 13. She was 8th in the Arnold. And, arguably, some people surprised me. I think she's right there.
Question of the night, Chris. Will Phil Heath retain? We will not know till tomorrow night. So, guys, stay tuned to the RX Muscle live play-by-play tomorrow night, men's finals and figure finals. I'll be here with Lonnie the Swami Teper and Ruth Silverman. For now, I'm Dave Palumbo with Chris Aceto for RxMuscle.com. Good night.